Recording started. Timer, we're ready whenever you are.
Okay, so how many of you guys see or use objects like these every day? How come some of you aren't raising it? You definitely see them. So how many of you have seen them in what will be some of their final resting spots? So there's been an accumulation of anthropogenic marine debris. Anthropogenic just means human-made, and it's mostly plastic. And this is forming garbage patches in our oceans, and it is affecting the marine ecosystem. So today we're going to look at how plastic has become such an important part of our society, followed by information on the North Pacific garbage patch, and how this is affecting the marine ecosystem and the marine animals that live there. So to start off, we're going to look at the main culprit, which is plastic. So plastic has been great for our society. It has many advantages, such as it's lightweight, it's durable, and it's very inexpensive to produce. It has also made our lives so much safer and healthier. And, but the only disadvantage, there are many disadvantages, but one of them is it's used as single-use packaging. And since plastic is designed to last forever, being used as for a single use it's ending up and it's just accumulating because it doesn't break down. And the cradle to grave cycle, which Gregory Woolman from the Environmental Progress explains it, it's from the raw extraction through its use into its final disposal. And since it's only used as single use, this is a very short process, and the plastic just ends up it's just sitting there after it's done being used. So in 2010, the Science magazine posted an article and they did a study on around 200 coastal countries, and they measured the amount of plastic waste that these countries produced. And it was 275 million metric tons. That is like 6,000 Titanics. And that's just all the plastic they produced. And they found that 4.8 to 12.7 million metric tons went into the ocean, or ended up in the ocean. And so with all this plastic going into the ocean, it is starting to accumulate in, one of the places is the North Pacific garbage patch, which is this, it's like a circular pattern where the weather patterns and the water currents kind of swirl it all up, and there's an accumulation of plastic in the middle, according to Wallace Davis with the Marine Pollution Bulletin. And it's mostly styrofoam cups, plastic bottles, grocery bags, and fishing gear. But this stuff doesn't break down. Eventually, or it's not biodegradable, but it breaks down into what are called microplastics, which are just tiny little pieces of plastic that float around. And so instead of there being just a giant landmass of trash in the ocean, it's what's called plastic soup. It's just a bunch of little things, so it's making it's basically impossible to clean up. And the reason why it's not biodegradable, according to Colette Wabnitz, is because of the seawater salinity and its cool temperatures. And so with the Drifters program, Eric Van Siegel with the Global Drifters program made this video, which I'm going to show you a short clip of. It just shows how the plastic starts off near the countries and then it just kind of accumulates in these 6 different garbage patches. And the picture on the right is of the microplastics. So with all this going into the ocean, how is this affecting the marine life? So it's mostly ingestion or entanglement, and 100,000 animals annually die from being entangled in plastic. And an example of ingestion is the Laysan albatross. They did a study in the North Pacific in 2010, and they found that 90% of the chicks had consumed plastic already. And then sea turtles are finding whales that use filtering. They're finding 800 kilograms of plastic that washed up on it with a dead whale. It was in its stomach. And that's a picture of the albatross. So basically, with marine life in jeopardy, it's important to keep informed about this. And it's you can't get around that plastic is influencing our oceans. And the accumulation of plastic is causing garbage patches, and it's affecting the marine life. And while plastic is really useful and it's made our lives safer and healthier, this comes at a cost, and this cost is garbage patches and the wildlife that's affected. And so, although damage has already been done, I want to leave you with one quote by Dr. Seuss. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to change. It's not. And then pictures.
Thank you. How was time?